Many people have different ways of planting and watering succulent leaves they're propagating. I have my own way of storing and watering leaf babies and have been doing it this way for many years, propagating hundreds of thousands of succulents with great results. I'm not saying my way is the best though, and the other techniques could work just as well. I will, however, explain why I like to do things the way I do, as I believe it really can matter when you're dealing with succulents that can be a bit humidity or water sensitive. The following may seem like a roundabout way of explaining things, but please just bear with me. It should all make sense in the end, and a lot of the seemingly irrelevant info can be somewhat important. For those of you looking for a quick answer, personally, I don't water my leaf babies until at least a few leaves and ideally roots have emerged from the original leaf. But first, let me show you how I store them and wait for new growth. In this part of the world, spring is around the corner, which means a lot of propagating for my small nursery. This spring I have to double up my efforts as I plan to do much less propagating during summer, whether it be leaf cuttings or tissue culture, because the temperature forecast is a bit scary. We're looking at little rain and higher than average temperatures. Based on what was and still is happening in much of Northern Hemisphere, we too may be looking at some serious heat. High temperatures can force succulents and other plants to go dormant even when they are meant to grow. This is a preservation method for plants against unfavorable weather. I'm starting to collect succulent leaves now, even though it's still officially winter, and hope I'll be able to make enough to get me through the year. When I get my leaves, I don't plant or put them on top of potting mix, but rather keep them in a tray in a plastic greenhouse with 30% shade factor. This will get them a good amount of light to stimulate growth, keep them dry, and the shade factor will protect them from sunburn. Now, I know a lot of the advice out there suggests watering or spraying the leaves and even covering them with plastic from the get-go, but in my experience this can rot them or attract some other type of fungus. If you're trying to propagate a water-sensitive Echeveria, for instance, there's a good chance the leaves will die before any growth happens. Covering and watering leaves to propagate is done with other plants that would otherwise dry out and die, but because most succulents have evolved to store water, this is not necessary and may be even harmful. Good amount of light can help too, as the leaf babies will be used to the sun from the start. Leaf babies raised in darker spots may grow leggy and burn once moved out into the sun. They can also be more prone to fungal disease. I find that leaves exposed to decent light will start growing new plants faster, and they tend to be more resilient too. In the growing season, the babies should start emerging in about 2 weeks, depending on the type of succulent. Some take a bit longer and may be slower to grow. I find that pretty much all succulents that have the ability to propagate from leaf will do so in the spring. Some succulent leaves will first grow roots, then new leaves, while with others it can be the other way around. If you're lucky, they'll both emerge simultaneously. If you're unlucky, you'll only get roots or nothing at all. When the leaves grow first, I wait a bit for the roots, though if they take too long and the parent leaf starts dying or the leaf baby is big enough, I plant in potting mix and start watering to help coax the roots out. Similarly, when roots grow first, I wait a little for at least a sign of leaves before I plant and start watering. The reason I wait is so I don't waste time, space and energy on a bunch of leaves that are only going to grow roots. Once you have a thick root ball but no other growth, it is unlikely the leaf propagation is going to be successful. So once I have either a good little mini-me growing out of the leaf or roots with leaves emerging, I pop the leaf in succulent potting mix and start watering pretty much immediately. And then I just follow the usual watering routine and water well once the potting mix has dried up. To get good deep roots going, I don't leave them dry for too long and give them a decent soak when watering. I'm very much against spraying leaves or succulents in general unless you're dealing with rhipsalis or other epiphytes that are not prone to fungal disease and have evolved in humid environments. Spraying will only wet the top layer and can lead to hydrophobic potting mix and fungal disease if you spray the leaves often. The constant wet surface can help harmful fungus develop and damage or even kill small leaf babies. Watering can be done with a hose, watering can, or you can put the pots in containers or dishes filled with water and wait until the potting mix has soaked it up. This is a good watering technique for water-sensitive Echeveria or other succulents that tend to be susceptible to rot, black spot, powdery mildew or rust. Although many succulent leaf babies will tolerate it, I would also not recommend keeping the potting mix soggy or too dry. You may be risking death for a variety of reasons. Very soggy mix can be an invite for rot. If it's on the other hand very dry, the tiny leaf babies can simply dry out and die, especially when the weather is warm as well. Okay, I think that just about covers it. If you have any further questions or have something to add, you can do so in the comments below. I do apologize if I miss some comments. I do try and reply to everyone, but it's getting really busy right now and I may not get to answer all of them. To learn more about succulents, hit that subscribe button or go to succulentgrowingtips.com. Thank you so very much for watching.